welcome back to the NMP, or the Noel and Mike Project. This is episode 11. We cover the interesting articles that we find across the internet and share them with you, and we give our commentary and opinions and all that kind of crap. Feedback, yeah. So, I'm Michael Field.
I'm Noel Danila.
And with that being said, we will get started.
Yes.
I will jump right in with...
the Microsofts.
Yes.
Oh, the Microsofts, our favorite company, of course.
Mm-hmm.
As you could probably tell.
Well, you can tell with mine. Well, for those of you who don't know, Microsoft is working on a project called Project Islandwood. I don't know why I got that name.
Who knows how they get up with half their names?
I have no idea. It's an interesting thing in its own. But a lot of apps that exist on iOS do not exist on the Windows platform. It was noted in the article specifically, like Snapchat is not one of them. Clash of Clans, which is huge revenue.
A huge game.
Huge game. Obviously, it was catered. More people have iPhone and all that kind of stuff. So what Microsoft is doing is that they're working with Apple and themselves to create the bridge to merge the two together, because it is two different programming softwares and all that kind of stuff. So they want to make it an easy transition for a developer who is strictly iOS to port it over to Windows.
Now, does that work in reverse? Like from Windows to iOS? Because you said they're working with Apple, which makes me wonder, like, if I develop an app for Windows, can I port it over to iOS? Do they specify that at all? Because that'd be interesting. Because I highly doubt Apple would be all in on something like this.
No, this is a one-sided
That's a one-sided deal. So I'm assuming if Apple's on board, chances are it's probably going to work both ways. But maybe that's just assuming too much.
I'm not necessarily sure if Apple's on board with it, or if Windows is just taking
the initiative.
Which is probably
with most likely what's
with
going
the
on.
Coding knowledge. Like, they're deciphering Apple's coding in order to make it work.
In either case, it's good for developers and consumers alike.
Yeah. But then the interesting thing is that they bailed on the Android one.
Which is somewhat interesting, just because Android seems
it's Android or Apple, like that's and Microsoft is in there, but it's basically Android or Apple, and they put it on hold indefinitely, is what it says on here.
You know what it is they're probably trying to win back some of that Apple market that they lost, and win them back to like the Microsoft side kind of thing. I don't know.
At that point, if there's one thing that Windows does that's really, really good, it's business. And
it knows how to sell to businesses.
Yes. Microsoft Word is a phenomenal program. PowerPoint, Excel, Access. Like, those are all good programs that they've made. And Apple had their own, but what did Apple end up doing? They ended up working out a deal with Microsoft, and Microsoft makes Word for Apple.
Yeah, they do.
So,
well, the reason why it works so well is because Microsoft owns so many businesses in terms of it basically has them in their pocket. And I think the reason why Word, Excel, Access all work so well is because if you want that Microsoft licensing, like for the OS, you have to promise them, hey, you'll use our software as to not mess with the OS itself. Like there's all kinds of licensing deals that go along with that. So they're able to buy out those. They're essentially buying shares of each one of those programs because, like, we'll give you this license, but you have to use these programs along with you in order to use our OS. And that's why Word is so popular, why Excel is so popular. Because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of those programs, the proprietary programs. Like I can't take a document from something else and open it up in Word. I can't do that. But if I take it from somewhere else and put it literally anywhere else, it'll open up fine. If I take it from Word and open it up in, like, what's Apple's version of, I don't even know. It's like Pages. I can open up a Word document in Pages, but I can't open up a Pages document in Word. I can open up a Google document in Pages in OpenOffice. I can't open up those documents in Word. And that's my biggest gripe with it, is because is it a great program? Yeah, they're great programs. They work. But the closed off programs, the proprietary programs, like you have to use our format only.
Yep.
And that's what I don't like about them.
Well, that's what businesses and colleges want too.
Yeah.
So they have that deal sealed away. But I'm interested to see what happens, because will this help Windows Phone gain popularity because all the same iOS apps are available on the Windows market?
Hopefully. Maybe that's what they're planning. That's what they're investing in, is to bridge that gap. And it's a smart investment. It really is. Look at the way games are developed. Back in the day, you had Nintendo, you had Genesis, you had Sega
you would have
Saturn,
the same games, but different content within the games.
Yeah.
Because Aladdin was completely different on Genesis than it was on Nintendo.
Because they're completely different systems. They're completely different ecosystems. And this generation, everything's so similar.
Yeah, the only thing that changes are the icons on the screen saying that X is replaced by A.
Yeah,
you know,
in terms of hardware, in terms of specs, they're very, very similar in terms of what they can do, the way they process things. Even from console to PC these days, they're so similar, and it's just worlds easier for developers to develop a game
that's cross-platform, easily cross-platform. You know?
And that's what Microsoft's aiming here, is to make it easy for developers to develop for, like, they're more focused on the application as opposed to focusing on getting it to run on whatever it is they're trying to get it to run on.
Yeah.
So this way they can develop more time, more money into the program itself, and less time on optimization.
So I'm interested to see. It says that they could launch the tool within the coming weeks. And they have a website dedicated to the project, which we will link below.
Do they got a release window for this at all?
It said coming weeks.
Coming weeks. Well, stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep your eye out.
Oh, well, the link that I clicked is in French, so that's not good.
Well, use Google Translate. If we put the link in there and it's French for you, just
here we go. We translate the page. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Why
I
is it
would.
in French? Is it a French company running this?
Frauin, maybe.
Who knows? Either case.
Yeah. Oh, I guess one thing too that kind of gets overlooked. This made me just think of it. Windows, how they integrated everything together.
Yeah.
How, so the phone communicates with the PC better.
Yeah.
And then you can get the apps on the PC. You can get the Twitter app. You can get all the same apps that you can get on the phone.
You could get them on your Xbox One now.
Yeah. So theoretically, because this image, 1 billion Windows 10 devices. So if you bridge that gap, and then you could play Clash of Clans on your PC as opposed to on your phone, or pick up where you left off, like that would be huge.
See, that's the future that we're running towards, and that's what I want to see. That's what I want more of. Like, it's not gonna matter the platform you run an app on, or the platform you play a game on, or watch a movie on. None of that's not gonna matter in the future. Eventually, that all of those closed systems will be connected in some way. And it doesn't matter how you do your thing, your program, your whatever. You just do it.
Here you go, dude. I found the link for the developers. It says, we want to make it easy as possible to get started with the Windows Bridge for iOS. In the coming weeks, we'll be launching a web tool that will automatically analyze your app for compatibility with the bridge and give you results right in the browser. You will be able to see exactly how much work you'll have to do in order to bring your app to Windows. Also with suggestions, tips, workarounds for any libraries you're using that the bridge doesn't support yet.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, so you already have your app developed, upload it in there, and it'll be like, hey, you just got to change this, and then you're good to roll.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
I mean, like I said, the easier it is for developers to develop for, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's key. Developers need to be able to get in there and just do what they want to do, not worried about how to do it.
Yeah.
They can just do it, and then take it from there, run with it. But
we'll see what happens.
I suppose so. In either case, it'll work out for everyone, hopefully,
yes.
Theoretically. Speaking of things working, how about things not working? Bitcoin has been declared dead for the 89th time.
It's got more lives than a cat.
Yep. For those of you who don't know what Bitcoin is, it's essentially digital currency. It's a currency that exists but doesn't exist. It's strictly digital. It's think of it as when you buy back when Xbox Live had Microsoft points.
Mm-hmm.
You're essentially buying points. Bitcoin is essentially the same thing. It's a digital point system that has some type of value. And just like any other currency, it has whatever value people put behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't believe it's valued anything, then, there's nothing...
It's not worth anything.
It's not worth anything. It's just like anything else out there in the world. It has whatever value you put behind it.
Yeah.
The thing that about Bitcoin this time around is it's been declared dead hundreds of times over, and the community's still strong for it. It's still great. It's still out there. People still accept it. View it as an actual good currency. There's websites that only accept Bitcoin currency.
Yep.
The thing that makes it different this time around is Mike Hearn. Hearn?
Where's the name?
Hearn.
Yeah, Mike Hearn.
Hearn. I don't know why I had such a tough time.
Mike
Maybe because the R and the M together look like an M, and I wanted to say hem, but I don't know. Anyway, he's basically the founder and developer of the Bitcoin. And he's walking away from it all. He said straight up, the experiment has run its course, and he's done. He believes that the Bitcoin community has failed in doing whatever it is that he expected them to do. I honestly don't know what he expected from them, but essentially he's lost faith in his own currency, and he's walking away. Does that mean the currency is dead? No.
It exists.
Because just like any other currency, like I said before, it has whatever value you put behind it. So as long as there's a community out there putting value behind this currency, it will have value. And even if Bitcoin dies, it has spawned a completely different economy. There's other things like Bitcoin out there. There's Litecoin. There's... I can't think of it.
Dogcoin or whatever?
Dogcoin, yeah. It spawned a whole new branch of different digital currencies out there. And regardless if Bitcoin is dead or Bitcoin fails or not, like it's changed.
It's changed the way
internet purchases. Like it essentially changes the way people purchase things on the internet, and it's done its job there. And I applaud him for that. I don't know. I could never get behind Bitcoin myself. I came across wondering whether or not I should get into it, and I thought about it seriously for a couple of months, and I decided it was more work than it was worth the hassle mining Bitcoins.
Yeah.
So I eventually
there were people who made fortunes off of it.
Yeah. There's people out there who went out and they bought all kinds of gear solely for mining coins, and some people made a decent chunk of money doing it. Some people broke even. Others just invested a whole lot of money in.
Yeah, there were people who, when it first came out, who like bought into it and forgot about it, and then when it got popular, they went back and like checked their account, and they had like millions of dollars in there, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I remember the video card I actually have in my computer right now. It's an old R9 card. At the time, it was brand new, and it was supposed to be awesome for Bitcoin mining, and that's why I seriously considered this. And I was like, should I do it? If I did, I wouldn't have a PC to do other stuff with, because it'd be solely mining Bitcoins, and I couldn't just justify buying another PC to actually use for my personal use and have this.
But by
one on
mining the
side.
bitcoins, you could have mini PCs.
I don't know. Maybe it was a poor decision on my part.
Well, maybe not. It's dead. So
Well, it's been declared dead for
yeah,
the 89th time. But this is the first time that the developer is walking away. And honestly, it's already taken on a life of its own. He can walk away from it, and it's
still just going to keep going.
I don't see it affecting the economy at all.
Oh, I was on the wiki page for it, and it said that there are some things going on for it that will run its course until like 2100 or something. So it's like,
yeah,
it ain't going nowhere.
I mean, just think of it like Pirate Bay. How many times has that been taken down?
Yeah, you just got to find a different place to put it up in.
They'll shut down one server, 20 more spawn up in its place. It's one of those things where it might not be as popular as it once was, but it will always still be
because
around.
after it happens, people are skeptical.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I guarantee you the economy will take a dip because people are going to lose faith briefly, but they'll realize that his departure from the whole thing isn't really going to affect the economy at all because it's already taken on a life of its own.
Yeah.
And it'll continue on from there.
See, what I don't understand what you're saying about like Pirate Bay getting taken down.
Yeah.
When will these companies just invest money into setting up a server hut that runs off of solar electricity in Antarctica where there's no owner, no law, no anything?
Well, if I can remember right, the last servers that they had running were on a freighter in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
International waters?
I don't remember if I have that right, and feel free to correct me in the comments below. But that's one of the servers that I believe they've taken down was on a freighter somewhere. But they've got so many servers, and it's the website's not even ran by the same group of people anymore. Like the guys who I believe were in jail or like served jail time for the whole site in general, they haven't had any hand in what Pirate Bay is these days. They've even asked the people who have access to it to take it down. Like, it's ran its course. We're done.
Yeah.
But it's taken on a life of its own. It's become a whole thing on its own. And it's a completely different beast than what it started out being. And just like Pirate Bay, Bitcoin will do the same thing. Mm-hmm. It'll take on its own life. It'll continue whether or not the developers want it to. It's just that simple. They got anything on there about that, or? Pirate Bay's gone through so many different URLs these days.
It's right now it's the piratebay.se.
Yeah.
Countries have blocked it. Censorship by corporations, Facebook and Microsoft. 2012, Microsoft blocked Windows Live Messenger messages if they can't contain links to the Pirate Bay. Oh. Good thing no one uses Windows Live Messenger.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really used Windows Live Messenger, which is probably why Windows bought Skype.
Probably.
And yeah, now everything uses Skype.
Yeah, Facebook blocks
links. It's a
links.
decent program, but Skype really isn't what it used to be anymore either. Like, I find it a lot less reliable, at least video chat-wise. Back in the day, I thought video chat on Skype was awesome, and then since Microsoft bought it out, I've had nothing but disconnect issues, lag issues, and I don't know what they did. Maybe it's the switchover. I haven't messed with Skype in forever at this point, so hopefully it's better now. But I think that initial switchover is when I was getting those issues, and I walked away from Skype at that point just because it was too unreliable. It was just way too unreliable. And these days, I have my Android phone. I just use Google Hangouts. Like, anyone I talk to, majority of the people I know have an Android phone. They'll have Hangouts. It's not something they have to go out and get. It's something they already have.
Yeah, and then too, you can use it for iPhone too. More than likely, I'm sure there's a Hangouts function
I'm sure
for
there's
that.
a Hangouts thing for that. And same thing with iOS. They have their built-in FaceTime.
Yep.
You can call anyone. Like, why would I go out and get a third party?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Like Russell and whatnot, who lives in Louisiana, I'll just FaceTime him.
That's another bridge that needs to be closed, though.
A universal.
Like, a universal, like, I guess Skype is universal, but like, if I'm on my Android with Hangouts, I want to be able to call you on FaceTime, or vice versa, or let me call my buddy on his computer who's on Skype.
Yeah.
Like, let there be that interconnectivity. Whether or not we'll see that,
it's up to the companies to do that.
that's up to the companies. But we are seeing more of it. And honestly, it's one of those things where I think we'll see it in video games first.
Yeah.
And you already see that a little bit with games like Rocket League. You can play on your PlayStation against people on your PC and vice versa.
Yeah,
and
again, that's the developers.
Yeah, that's all up to the developers. And there's certain games that do that, but there is difficulties in that. When you make one update for the iOS, you got to make sure the same type of update and fixes goes into the Android version, to the PC version, to all that other stuff. And that's why you don't see it that often. It's a lot harder to develop for. But
speaking of bridging gaps,
Nintendo.
Who's their new president after
I
Iwata
honestly
died?
don't know.
It is Tatsumi Kimishima.
That's better than anything I would have came up with in terms of pronunciation. I am god-awful.
He took over last July after Iwata passed away. And he has officially announced yesterday he has a plan for the company to release their mobile app in March. And people were skeptical in the beginning when they announced it last year that they were going to jump into mobile. And people were like, oh, they're going to bring Mario, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, no, they weren't. But now it turns out that they are bringing...
They're bringing something.
Yeah, they're bringing familiar Nintendo characters into the mobile market. And then the other thing that was... Because you said it, because you heard it, and I did hear it too, was that they were going to license out the usage of their characters to other developers to make games for them. But that only gives you so much money.
Yeah.
And let's be real, who makes the best Nintendo products?
Nintendo.
So you're not going to want the people who make Clash of Clans making Mario Clash or some, I don't know. You know, yeah. It would bastardize the brand. And my honest opinion, because Nintendo licensed software out back in the day, and how did that work out for Zelda?
I think they still do it in select cases. I can't remember who developed Mario Sonic, the Olympic Games game for like Wii and Wii U.
I
don't think that was a Nintendo.
I think that was a joint partnership. I thought
it might have been, but it's not something Nintendo did solely on their own. I can promise you that, because that game was supposed to be garbage, and Nintendo doesn't really.
Sega.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so they licensed out the Nintendo characters to Sega.
Which explains why it sucked.
Yeah, Sega, honestly, I grew up with a Sega Genesis. I absolutely love... I still have my Sega Genesis. I still have my Nomad.
I have my
which
Genesis.
Is a portable Sega Genesis, and that thing's awesome.
Yeah.
But
like a game
Sega has hit a huge decline, and...
They're strong in the arcade market, but...
Yeah, outside of that...
Oh... Jumping topics here. Sega, I believe, officially announced Sonic Adventure 3.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I heard that the other day.
That would be interesting. I would love to see that, just because people would argue these Sonic Adventure games were the last good Sonic games, or true Sonic games. I mean, you get your handful of good ones here and there. Like Sonic Generations wasn't too bad.
Oh, it's a rumor. My fault.
It's a rumor? Yeah. But who knows? I mean, they're coming out with Shenmue 3. That only took next to forever to do.
Exactly.
But
jumping back to the mobile Nintendo, it says that Nintendo is also going to want to surprise fans with ideas not built on old ones, and in 2016 they will release more details on the NX.
You mean 2016?
Yeah, what did I say?
You said 15.
Oops.
I'm like, 2015's over. I don't recall this memo.
He also claims the expansion to smartphones and theme parks, but also to movies and TV animes via character licensing is progressing. I heard about
character animes. Okay, does nobody remember when they licensed out
Mario?
Zelda?
No, I think they did. Yeah, Zelda TV show, but then they also did the Mario TV show.
And for the longest time, they I don't know if they distanced themselves from Mario, but they definitely distanced themselves from the Zelda thing. They did not want to admit to that. And eventually the internet came about and all barriers were
Nintendo
broken.
is experimenting with new business models. Where's the other one? He wants to bring the company new financial levels, or their financials to new levels. And then right here it says the plan is to bring profits to 100 billion yen, which is 855 million, in several years. I'm not sure how long that span is, but that would be 4 times
what it is now.
Last year's profit.
No shit.
But in all honesty,
that's
if you're
big talk.
If you're going to be licensing your stuff out and then getting, like, because look at Cedar Point, they have licensing for the Peanuts.
Yeah.
You know, the Peanuts crew. So you have Snoopy and Charlie Brown and all that kind of stuff for like the little kids. Yeah, you have all that. So if Nintendo licensed out their characters to Universal Studios and you had a Mario Land,
which would be pretty,
and
I will admit that.
That would be cool. And that right there alone would be revenue through the roof. Or if they were smarter and licensed it out to Disney, because Disney's worldwide. You have Disney of Tokyo, you have Disney of Florida.
I believe Disney is getting too big for its own damn good.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just saying if they were wanting to go on a worldwide level, because I'm not sure how many Universal Studios there are.
That'd be the way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Disney would be the way to go.
Yeah, because like I said, they have Disney of London, that you got Japan, you have Australia, you got Cali, you have Florida. Like, you have options. And then you have Disney cruises that you can intertwine the characters on to entertain the little kids and shit so the parents can go get drunk. You know? Like, I think if they do it properly and when they license it out, if they have effective control so that things don't get bastardized.
That's the problem. Anytime you license anything out,
you can still have control though, dude. Oh shit! I forgot to lock the cat up. Get out of here.
Yeah, you can. But that's the problem. Anytime you license anything out, you lose overall control. You might still have a little bit or a lot. It doesn't matter. But there's certain aspects that you do lose control of.
Yeah,
and that's when things start to. It could go either way. It really just depends on who's handling it and how it's handled.
It says right here. In May, Nintendo announced that it would bring themed attractions to Universal Studios.
There you go.
Expand the brand, and including anime and movies. And then they referenced the good old 1993 Bob Hoskins film.
Hooray!
But
everybody's favorite.
Clack, 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 clack.
Oh, man.
But, I don't know. I'm interested to see what
I'm
they do.
I'm excited what they do with just the NX and Nintendo's future in general. Because honestly, as much as a lot of other people, were extremely underwhelmed by the Wii U. It
has some cool features, but I've had it for over a year now, and I must have played it 10 times.
Yeah,
that's not good.
I mean, I can't justify paying $200-$300 for something you're gonna play that small amount of.
I played the hell when I did play it. I played the hell out of. I was probably more than 10 times, but I played the new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
because that was cool. It was in HD. It made a hell of a difference in clarity.
Hell yeah.
You know, and then
I don't know why it took Nintendo so long to hit that HD thing, but
I have no clue. But then they had the Super Mario 3D World where he was like turning into a cat.
Yeah.
And all that. That was cool. I had Mario Kart 8. That game's cool. I downloaded the Wind Waker HD remake.
Yeah. Which I hear amazing things about.
It is.
But that's my biggest gripe with Nintendo.
I played all Nintendo games. I didn't play anything new.
What games Nintendo does make are phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. They're phenomenal. But it's another Mario Kart. It's another Mario Land. It's another Legend of Zelda.
I want to pick up though is that Mario Builder.
Yeah, Mario Maker.
Yeah, Mario Maker.
Yeah, that's supposed to be good, but essentially it's another Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest downfall to that game is it's extremely hard to find anything. Unless you know the specific code of a level that you want, You can't search by title, you can't search by name, you can't search by anything other than load it up. Here's a crapshoot of stuff. Pick one.
Yeah,
and that's a shot in the dark. So you'll sift through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of levels just to find one good one, and that's its biggest downfall. Is it a great concept? Yes. I mean, does it work well with the tablet? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like that's how level design worked. And like as much as I enjoyed Little Big Planet, it was really hard for me to actually get into actually developing levels for it because it's a very...
We had fun doing it
yeah.
when we were doing it for a minute, but it got old pretty quick because it was hard.
it was extremely difficult, and it had a pretty big learning curve to it. Mario Maker, with the tablet, you just point, click, put whatever you want on there, and you're done. It's intuitive. But what it does in terms of ease of developing, it lacks in ease of finding.
Yeah.
And so you do get that trade-off between those two games, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a great game nonetheless. But again, it's still another side-scrolling Mario. And that's where Nintendo's hit a wall for me. Is they're not coming out... They're coming out with new ways to play, but they're not coming out with new things to play.
Yeah.
Is essentially what
Mario
I'm saying.
3D World was different. Because that was like Super Mario 64.
On crack.
But, yeah, with 4 people,
yeah.
You know, causing mischief and mayhem. So that was different to play. But, I don't know. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's only so much that you can actually do.
I am still extremely excited for the NX because Nintendo is extremely good at innovating the way we play. Like, they created motion controls. Like, I strongly believe that if it wasn't for the Wii, we wouldn't have Kinect.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't. It wouldn't be what it is. And because of both the Kinect and the Wii, we wouldn't have a whole world of other things we have now. I mean, we might not even have... VR might not even be as big as it is because the whole Wii motion control thing led to Kinect, which led to the VR.
They opened people's eyes into doing it.
It snowballed. And that's what Nintendo's awesome at. Is snowballing the market, and that's what they've always done. That's what they'll continue to do, and that's what I want to see what they do next. What next little change will they do that will snowball into something
even larger?
Yeah, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, they definitely got some creative people there.
But moving on from Nintendo and licensing their stuff out, Valve is also licensing stuff out. They just greenlit basically a modders game that takes place in the Half-Life 2 universe, but it also uses the Half-Life 2 assets. It's essentially a Half-Life game that uses the assets that's not officially licensed, but backed by Valve. It's the strangest thing. So it's essentially a Half-Life game that Valve greenlit, but has nothing to do with. They're not hands-on at all.
So basically, they're just the greenlit meaning like do it, but we're not gonna handle any issues or sue you for anything.
Yes and no.
Like you're not gonna be able to make money off of it because it's our stuff, but we're not gonna take.
It was greenlit. For those of you who don't know, I don't know if you know, Steam has a program called the Greenlight program.
Okay.
Essentially, you can develop a game, put it up on this Greenlight thing, which is essentially, it's like a Facebook of video games and developers.
Okay.
And people can vote on your game. Like, hey, we want this game on Steam. Get this game on Steam. If you get enough votes, the game gets greenlit and it gets sold on Steam.
Okay.
So essentially, anything that is greenlit through this program and sold on Steam, Valve takes a percentage off of.
Okay.
But the fact that Valve greenlit this, it's let me see if I can find.
They didn't even have to do anything, so why wouldn't you?
That's the thing, and that's one of the things that worries me because there's a lot of talks that Valve is walking away from the whole game development. They say Half-Life 3 is still in the works. There's rumors that it's still in the works, but at this point, it's a skeleton crew. It's not a huge thing that they're developing into. And what was the last game they even developed themselves? It was either Left 4 Dead 2 or Portal 2. And how old are those games now? Valve hasn't developed a game in-house for a very long time now. At least developed and released a game in-house for a very long time.
Yeah.
They've moved on to the whole developing video games to video game distribution at this point. And they're moving on from there with the whole Steam machines and the Steam Link. And
yeah.
They're going into a whole new territory. They're even touching base with VR with, I think it's called Hive or Vive, one of the two. But they're essentially working with HTC to develop their own VR headset. So they've moved on from developing video games and they've moved on to distributing video games.
They did Dota.
Dota is old. Do they still make
Dota 2?
Dota 2 is pretty old.
Is it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought that they just did that.
They're still updating it regularly. It still gets all kinds of updates, but Dota 2's been out for a while now.
I did not know that. I thought it was like recently.
I think it's recently got more popularity because Valve was putting more money behind it in terms of the whole
it came out
crowd.
in 2013 on Windows and Linux.
Yeah, but
That's
essentially
not that
Dota
bad.
2 is also a mod. Dota 2 was originally a mod off of StarCraft, and Valve essentially bought them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really entirely developed in-house. They basically bought them out, and they're like, hey, you work for us now, make this game. And that's not a bad thing, but Valve hasn't done anything with their own IPs for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Do they own Dota 2 now? Is it their IP? Yeah, it's their IP, but it's not one they developed in-house. It's one that they acquired and bought out and gave its thing and did.
Yeah, they are doing different things.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily looking at new games. So like right here it says in 2013 at the DICE Summit, they announced with J.J. Abrams that they're collaborating to produce a Half-Life or a Portal film, as well as a new game to go along with it. But J.J. Abrams kind of busy right now doing...
Speaking of J.J. Abrams, I believe J.J. Abrams did a Portal fan film way back in the day. I can't recall what it was called.
But yeah, in terms of new IPs and all that kind of stuff, they're not in a rush.
No, not at all. They're talking about Half-Life movie. Yeah, they're talking about Portal movie. Something's going on with J.J. Abrams and Portal. I don't know what, but it's very interesting to see Valve greenlight this license, though, essentially. Because if they're not going to develop Half-Life 3 themselves, maybe they'll give it to somebody else. Because it's not in the complete realm of impossibility. They do this all the time. Portal 1 was a college group project that Valve saw.
Wanted it? Yeah.
I believe the original game was called Nuclear Drop. And that's essentially, it was a proof of concept. And Valve loved the idea, and they acquired them and ran with it. Counter-Strike was a mod off of Half-Life.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's one of their most popular games. They took them and they ran with it. So it's not out of the realm of impossibility. But this is interesting in terms of what they do with it and where they go with it. I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Nothing's wrong with if it looks good and clean.
Yeah.
And someone took the time to do it.
Because I know...
why not?
No, somebody... there was another mod called the Half-Life 2 update. It was either Half-Life 2 or Half-Life 1. I believe it was Half-Life 2 update. Essentially, there was a group of modders that went through the Half-Life 2 game and gave it a complete graphics overhaul. And Steam gave them the green light. They did it and they released it. I believe you could download it on Steam as its own separate entity, essentially. They got another project called Black Mesa, which is essentially a remake of the original Half-Life game. And again, Valve is letting them do it. You want to remake it? Do it. There's a lot of companies out there who see remakes of their games go up there and then
take it down.
Shut it down. Yeah. Shut it down. Konami did it with the remake of the original Metal Gear. I believe it was Metal Gear, the original NES game. Yeah. Somebody was going through making the original Metal Gear with essentially all the bells and whistles that Metal Gear Solid 5 has. And it was so big, they even got David Hayter to come on, and he actually had him signed on to do voiceover work for this remake. Konami found out about it and shut them down. And it's a shame. It really is, because Konami's not going to do anything with it.
No, absolutely not. Even if they seized all of the development and everything like that, they would probably just throw it away.
Yeah. So it's a real shame, because they do have, I think, 1 or 2 trailers out there. David Hayter does do the voiceover for those trailers, so if you get a chance, we'll try to link them below.
Yeah.
But it's a shame when developers see how much people love their games or see how much people love their work, and instead of embracing that, they shut them down.
Hey, take it away.
I mean, in certain cases, it makes sense. In other cases, it just doesn't.
Blows the mind.
Yeah, like Capcom shut down a remake of Resident Evil 2. They were remaking it from the isometric perspective that it kind of had, where the camera would shift angles, to the Resident Evil 4 perspective, where it's over the shoulder thing. Mm. And that's another project that looked phenomenal, shut down by Capcom. And it really is a shame. That one did make a little more sense, because I believe weeks later, they decided and gave the green lit to an actual remake of that game. So that one makes a little more sense to me. If they're going to develop it and do it themselves, yeah, go ahead and shut that one down. But if you weren't planning on it, developing it yourself, just let them have at it. You're not losing any money. You're not gaining any money from it. Just let them have it. Why not? But that's just my personal opinion. But I do like what Valve's doing here. They saw something. They see that a fan loves the game enough to develop his own take on it, and they basically tell him, do it. Run with it. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
And that's what more developers need to do. They need to embrace that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're getting a cut of it.
I don't think they're even... Well, yeah, they are getting a cut because it is greenlit, but it's because it's being distributed through Steam, and that's where they take their cut.
Yeah. That's what I say. Like, you'll see how hard it is when you have bugs and people are complaining. Like, we won't do it, but
I know even if they weren't getting a cut, Valve would have greenlit it, because the Black Mesa project was essentially the remake of the first one. Mm-hmm. Valve said they were okay with it way before it ever hit Steam. And I think when it eventually does hit Steam, if it hasn't hit already, it might have. I think they gave them a greenlit to not only let them release the remake, but when you get the remake, you also get the original Half-Life game along with it, completely free of charge. Which, I guess anyone who wants to play the original Half-Life probably owns it by now.
Yeah.
The game's been out for decades, and if you plan on getting it sometime in the future, because you don't have it yet, chances are you're not going to get it by legal means.
No.
Unless you find it on Steam for like $2. Which you can do. They have Steam sales, and that's how I get half my games. I pay $5 for them. But, moving on.
Oh, Samsung. At CES, they put the classic item to keep your items frozen or cold.
The classic item?
The classic item, the only item, the refrigerator.
Everybody's favorite household item.
They basically reinvented it to bring it into modern times, I guess, since everything is connected to a smart thing. Your fans, your light bulbs, your thermostat, your smoke detector, television, just a whole bunch of crap. You can even have your whole house wired to the point where you can shut stuff off.
I'm waiting for when I can look up the Monster website on my Monster can or something. It's eventually going to get to that point.
Oh yeah, with the OLEDs and whatnot coming. But here's the thing, why this fridge is so cool is it still looks like a standard, bifold or bi-door fridge.
Standard
freezer. On the left, you got the thing for the ice, water, blah blah blah. But now on the dead side, which is generally your fridge, you have a giant screen on there. And on the inside of it, when you open it, there's a camera. So when you walk by, I'm not sure, I don't know if it's motion or touch sensitive, but you can tap it.
You could probably turn it either or depending on what you want, I would assume, but...
It's a 21.5-inch HD LCD screen that is on the fridge, and it can show you the inside of it without actually having to open it. So you can see how much milk you have. You can see if you need to pick up my favorite, more beer, you know.
My favorite, more beer.
More beer or anything like that. It doubles as a calendar, reminders. You can put images, leave notes for somebody on there.
Yeah, that's a lot of things people do, or at least used to do back in the day.
Yeah,
like,
instead of having
on the fridge, you could just have a stylus.
You print a picture out and you hang it on the fridge. You already have a digital version of it, so just put it on the fridge.
Let me get my phone out and just
pretty much. You know, and you can set reminders. So if you're running low on milk and you're leaving work, your phone will go off and be like, hey, you want cookies later, don't you? Don't forget to pick that milk up. And you're like, oh yeah, I need to get milk. So here's some other features. Users can view TV programs on the screen using screen mirroring with their Samsung Smart TV. Built-in speakers for music streaming, and it can connect to Bluetooth wireless speakers.
Very nice.
It has 3 interior cameras, capture images every time the fridge door closes to take stock of the contents and send them to your smartphone. You can check the contents through the Smart Home app. The refrigerator also supports Groceries by MasterCard app to aid in online grocery shopping. The Samsung
That'd be interesting. Like, hey, I'm out of milk. Let me get some ordered right here and have some guy bring back the milkman. Give the milkman his job back.
The fridge, it could cost somewhere around $5,000, but they did not have a comment on it. But in all honesty, with some of these fridges that are out there, you're paying $3,000 for it anyway for a thing that just makes ice and water.
What is the average price of a fridge these days?
It depends on stainless steel, what?
Yeah, they got so many. Okay, so just Googling fridge, they'll range anywhere from $400
to... for a plain Jane.
Yeah.
Up to like $1,000.
Yeah.
There are other ones that I've seen.
So $5,000 is still a little bit pricier, but it's not out of the realm of something we haven't seen before. Like this one's like $1,000 easy. This one's $1,100, $1,600. So $1,500.
They didn't comment on the price, but that's speculation.
Yeah.
From people. I mean, there are people who pay $2,000 for a fridge.
Yeah.
And 2, since it's Samsung, you could bundle it up with other stuff. You can get the smart fridge
with my TV,
with a TV, or the dishwasher, microwave, like all that kind of stuff. Because you buy all that stuff in bundles anyway. Because that's the thing that you do when you buy appliances. If you're buying a new fridge, they'll sell you the dishwasher and the stove and a microwave to go with it, so that all your appliances match. So you don't have a stainless steel fridge, a white oven, black microwave, all that kind of stuff. And you get a huge deal. You'll end up paying...
Yeah, you save a lot more when you do it that way, I believe.
Yeah.
But you're also paying a lot more than if you just need a fridge. Yeah,
so if you wrangle that in there, and who knows what else they'll have.
Yeah.
A fridge is just the first step.
And this is still brand new, so it's not... After some time, that price will drop.
Oh, yeah.
To, normal prices. And... with enough time, that'll become the new norm. That'll become the new standard. Like, people just expect that out of your fridge.
Yeah. When it's the norm, you go to one of your friends who's poor, and you're like, you don't have the new fridge? Like, how do you know when you're out of milk? I open the door and look. You lazy.
The one thing I like about that, though, is it does save energy. You don't have to open the door to, look through your fridge. Hey, let me see what's in here. What do I have? What do I need? You could just look at it.
Yeah, you can just touch the screen and look and be like, I don't see anything good to eat right now.
Yeah.
Instead of like standing there and like
letting all that cold air out just to close it, and they have to put all that cold air back in, essentially running the whatever it runs. I don't know crap about fridges.
The motor.
Yeah.
The motor running.
You know, the thing that makes it cold. If you know the name of that, leave it in the comments below. I'll give you a virtual high five later. But you know, you save money not having to open and close the fridge all the time looking for something you need or that you think you have and don't have, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You just know what's in there before you even open the door, and that's awesome.
For sure. So we'll see what happens.
Samsung on ice. I give it another year or two afterwards that they come out with that where you see dancing fridges on the next ice show.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. It's been a long morning. But moving on to technologies.
Yeah, what do you got?
Drones.
You love drones.
Everyone loves drones. Drones is a growing thing. They already got something going out where you have to register your drones these days. But drones do cause problems. I know out in California there was a huge problem with a forest fire, I believe, last summer. And they couldn't get anyone out there to stop the fire because they couldn't get helicopters out there because there was a drone sighted in the area. And because of that, it was deemed not safe to fly a helicopter full of people out there thinking that, you know, this drone's going to go flying into the rotors. Something as small as a drone, I don't believe gets picked up on radar or anything like that. So it's hard.
I don't really see a drone messing with a helicopter too much, though.
If it gets flown into the...
I feel like a helicopter propeller would tear that thing apart.
Oh, I guarantee you it would. No doubts. But at the same time, would you want to be in that helicopter to take that risk?
Would you want to be in a helicopter that hits an eagle?
No.
I mean,
no, that's essentially why they don't send people out there, because it is deemed unsafe. They don't know how big the drone is. They don't know what it's capable of doing.
That's true.
So essentially, you have to register drones now. They're putting all these different laws in place for specific reasons, and you know that fire that went on in California went on for hours before they got any crews out there because of that. And it was in a particular area. I think they couldn't get to it with fire trucks or anything like that. It had to be done from the air. So this company, essentially, or these people are developing, essentially, ironically, a drone that shoots this net to capture other drones. So if you have a drone in the area that, you know, isn't supposed to be there, or it's in a place that may be causing harm or doing something that it shouldn't be doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They can essentially police drones with this drone. What they do is they take it up and it shoots this giant net. It looks like something out of a science fiction movie or a terrible Jurassic Park movie or something. So it shoots this net that opens up, and it basically captures this drone.
Immobilizes it.
It immobilizes it, and it essentially just flies away with the drone in hand. And apparently this is a spin off of what police have been doing in Tokyo for a while now. Tokyo came up with this whole thing of their own, but instead of shooting the net, it just dangles a giant net out of the bottom of the drone, and then they just fly the net into the drone, and it basically captures the drone and does the same thing. Mm-hmm. This one's taken a step further by making the net an actual propulsion system that launches the
net cannon.
Yeah, it's essentially a net cannon, and I don't know how hard it would be to operate this thing, because not only you gotta fly it now, you gotta aim it, you gotta chase down this drone, because I doubt that drone's gonna be sitting there flying, waiting for you to shoot it down. It's probably going to be doing some...
That's why I feel like the Japanese had it figured out better, because you could chase it with a net dangling.
Yeah, it looks a lot easier to capture it with this net, but I think this option with the whole... Essentially, the net flies into the drone that the Japanese have, and the drone gets caught in the net, and the drone just flies off with it. Yeah. I think it relies too heavily on those propellers getting caught in the net, though. So yeah, you might be able to knock it with the net, but how successful is it every time hitting the propellers to actually
probably a lot more than shooting one net and missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you miss, you can come back and
I don't know how effective this is going to be, but
it's a good idea. It needs work, though.
Yeah.
How many nets does the drone carry on hand? Is it just one? Do you need to have a whole fleet of them?
They don't specify.
Are they going to have sharpshooters that operate these drones
Yeah.
to hit the target every time? Are they going to practice by catching birds flying? Like, I want answers.
Well, it's essentially it's a prototype right now developed by Human Interactive Robotics Lab, which is a mouthful.
Is it an automatic targeting system, like how jets have homing missiles?
I doubt it's gonna have a homing. It's got a homing net.
I'm just being an a-hole right now.
Honestly, I would love to see that, a homing net. Like, I'm just imagining like a scene out of Independence Day. These drones are just flying around and just shooting these nets at each other,
Bagging people up.
Speaking of Independence Day, that trailer for the new one,
Yeah, that looks good.
released recently, and I'm excited for it. I'm disappointed that Will Smith will not be back. No more Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
It still looks like a decent movie.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm excited for it. Speaking of decent movies, I'm not gonna say this one, but I will have it linked below. It'll be like a secret movie link for you if you guys want to check it out. Click the link down there below and have fun with it.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say about that one.
So that, I think, wraps up this episode. Be sure to visit the links. Like he just said, there's going to be a bonus one down there for you guys. You can view the links, and some of the links that we have do have videos on there. We just don't play them because YouTube flags them and blah, blah, blah. But
It's a mess.
Yeah, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the episode and the other episodes that we have on the channel for the other shows. Click subscribe. Check out the website, 791zero.com, for the same episodes that are on there. They're also on the site. We also have a Detroit-based podcast that's on there, only on the site, and it's available on iTunes and Android. And view the other articles and different things that we share on the site. And until next time, see ya.
Enjoy.